The 1300 GS. So, been around it a few times, as you guys know. And who knows? Let's see what this is all about.
So,
all right.
You're going to see some video of me riding the 1300, the new one, and kind of just comparing it to both my GSA and the GS, and kind of just some of my thoughts. And I am personally not buying the bike. Is it nice? Yes, I will say it's nice, and you know, they'll sell a lot of them, just like, you know, they sold a lot of GSs in the past.
All right, well, I will say initially that the gear shift is a lot smoother. So we're going to take it around the block. It does have a different noise to it, I will say that. So if you're used to the 1250 like I am on my 21 GSA and my 23 GSA, but it's still got that unique boxer sound. It's got that ticking noise. But yeah, it just feels, as I said in my original review when I was, if you guys saw that I did, and I shouldn't say review because we weren't able to ride them, but when I was at the GS Trophy, you definitely could tell it just was smaller. But yeah, it is definitely, when you apply that throttle, you can definitely feel this. Now granted, this does not have the wide pegs on it, none of the, no accessories. This is strictly the factory side, so if you're putting any accessories on, which I'm sure my buddy Ian from Big Rock Moto will be doing, so if you want a true comprehensive review, look for Ian's review, because I know he's all giddy about this bike already. What I find interesting so far, just in the short little period here, is the suspension. Now I have put the new Evo suspension from Touratech on my 23, and so that's what that feels like a little bit. Now this is not the Enduro package, it's the standard suspension that comes on the new 1300, but yeah, this is pretty nice. Now seating position wise, I have to say, it feels, I don't know, like probably like an RT with the seating position. My legs feel a little bit more back, if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to pick the bike apart, I'm just telling you how I feel versus me just riding my 23 GS up here. Now I will give you that the initial throttle response that I've had so far from this thing is pretty darn peppy. So even on my GS, there is just a tad bit of a, I wouldn't say lag, but you know, you can give it the gas and it kind of just gets into it. This is immediate. You can feel the initial, like, going straight into it. So that's nice. I will say I'll give them a thumbs up on that one. A good thumbs up. There you go. They did, I will say this, they did give it, it does feel like they went more street bike-ish, if that's such a term. I think they went more street bike-ish in their design of this. And I just wonder if they did that because whether it's Ducati or just the next generation of riders, whatever that may be. But oh yeah, she gets up and goes. and that gear shift is really nice. So I don't know what it would be like off-road. I'm assuming that it still has a little bit of the characteristics. Let me see, standing up on it. Boy, she's small. God, there's just none of that bulk that you get from the GS. So I will say that if you have, like, even my 21 GSA, it is, you know, it gets a little clunky on the gear shifting going up, not necessarily going down, but on the up. My 23 doesn't seem to have that clunkiness, except for like from first to second and just a tad. But this right now, so far, no clunkiness of shifting the gears up and down. It's very smooth. Very, very smooth. They definitely made it more into a street bike than anything else. That's what my fear was, is that, and again, only riding for about, you know, a little over 3 years now, but my fear it was, and when I first looked at it, was that that's what they took out of it. They took the GS out of the GS and they made it more of a XR or RT type of vehicle. But I will say also the buttons and stuff down here, so you know, the buttons are different. You know, let me see. Yeah, that's the windshield. There we go. Oh yeah, there you go. That is nice. I had that on my K1600 GT, which was pretty cool, when you had the windshield that can go up and down. And I get, you know, I know the Wizzy Wheel, you can kind of control different things with these buttons and stuff. But it seems to be a little bit distracting because you don't have the modes over here, like you know, when you can set different things and heated seat and all that other stuff. So I don't know, there's some pros cons I guess about that. Yeah, comfort wise, I don't know, I feel a little bit up, like I don't feel like I'm, you know, I really don't. Me personally, I'm a big guy, 6'2", big guy. I feel a little cramped. I will say that I do feel a little cramped with my legs. I don't feel like there's as much room to stretch out, whether it was on my GSA or even my GS. I just feel a little cramped. So it's a little tighter, a little, you know, a little bit. It's just smaller. Like I said, I feel like it's a 310 GS on steroids, but that's just me.
Some pros. So to me, the shifter is nice. It's nice, like what everybody has said. Lot smoother. Now, granted, my 21 is a little clunky. The 23 has actually been better than the 21, but now this one is real super smooth, and a very nice update to that engine. The second thing I noticed between the bikes is, although if you've ridden the 1200 or 1250, especially the 1250s, what I did notice about the 1300 is when you crack on the throttle, that was pretty impressive. Very responsive. It was almost like when I had my K1600, that throttle response when it was in sport mode, it just really just popped, and like you could feel it immediately when you gave it the throttle. So I thought that was nice, versus the 1250, which, yeah, it'll give you good throttle response and everything like that, but I feel like you give it the throttle and it goes, and it's just, and then it, you know, like it's like a locomotive, it builds that steam and gets rolling, whereas the 1300, it just seemed like the power was right. So the suspension, I thought, was pretty nice. I was pretty surprised by that. Now, granted, I've got the Touratech suspension on here. I've got the Tractus suspension on my GSA, but I have to say that I was pretty impressed with the suspension. Now, it wasn't the Enduro package on it, but I was pretty impressed with that new telelever for that front end. So I would say that the suspension was pretty nice. Those are probably my three biggest takeaways, and probably it should be, right? I mean, it's an updated version. For me, I'm 6'2", big guy. For me, the takeaways was I like when I was at the GS Trophy and in Detroit, and I sat on the bikes and was around them, you know, probably what, 5 months ago or so. They feel tight. It feels like a sport ride when you're on it, and That's what I had to take away from. And it just seemed like I was tight on the bike. Like I have a lot more room on my GSA and my GS than I do on the new one. And what I mean by that, it just felt I was a little cramped in the legs. Again, just it felt like I was more in a sport bike position than I was on one of the other bikes. So that was to me was frustrating, and then the looks of it. I'm still not a fan of it. I just feel like and you'll see the pictures I took side by side, but I just feel like they took a little bit of the GS out of the GS looks wise. I feel that these look more aggressive, meaner, whatever you want to say about them, a little bit more character. I felt like the new GS just looks like a street bike, like they're going after Ducati. It could have been an XR, it could be a RT. One of my buddies that actually is buying one said it looked like a GSA and an XR or whatever had a baby, together or whatever. And I do feel that, that it's more built for touring or a sport bike. Now, granted, I haven't seen a lot of people take it off road. I know Ian from Big Rock Moto is doing a long term. He bought the bike, gushes about it, which he is very you never really see him gush about bikes. He's very objective in what he does, and I think that Ian will give you a better taste, but his initial comments is he loves the bike. So, and I can see why. I think if you're looking for something that is going to be peppy, now again off road, don't know. I haven't seen a lot of people ride it off road other than the Motorrad folks that do the videos and stuff like that. So again, those are professional riders. The bikes are all specced up, blah, blah, blah. It will be nice to see this spring and summer, after all the stuff that's been made, the aftermarket pieces, get on the bikes and people really take them off road and see what it's like. Now, granted, it is lighter. It's 20, 30 pounds lighter than this one. That you can definitely feel. That's a big component too. It's just, it's a lighter bike. For me, it just wasn't for me. Not sold on it. And again, you have to go ride this stuff. You have to figure out what's best for you. I just felt it wasn't as comfortable as my two, ergonomics wise, that type of thing. Again, I go back, but the gearbox, smooth, not smooth as butter, but smoother. The roll on when you crack the throttle, it really was responsive, and I think the suspension that's on it now, they've done a really nice job on it. So I will be interested on the off-road capabilities of it, and I'm sure it'll be fine. It's a GS, and those that know how to ride it and ride those bikes will be happy with it. So it's just a matter of time. But that's my initial thoughts on between the 1300, my 1250s. I just, not me. And again, great bike, and they're expensive too. I mean, the bike I rode in this video was $29,000. That didn't have the leveling, piece. It didn't have the enduro thing. So, and look at Ian. I think Ian spent $31,000 for his bike. So, if you're into that, getting everything on there, you're going to be in that $28,000 to $32,000 range, and that doesn't come with bags, none of that stuff on it. So it is a pretty good investment. You will have to figure that stuff out. I'm sure, like I said, the aftermarket stuff's going to come on board, but for me, I'm very happy with what I decided to do, which was to get this 23 GS, do the investment in it myself. Customize it myself. For what all I've done to this bike with the suspension and all the upgrades and everything like that, I'm still cheaper than a brand new a GS, and so I really can't complain in that aspect of it. But you will like it. For those that will like the new GS, you will like it. It's it's just the next evolution. Anytime you upgrade technology and upgrade anything, whether it's a car or whatever, of course it's going to be a little bit nicer and have the all stuff. I do miss the buttons. I do miss like the heated buttons on it. There's some things about that on the Dials, everybody's talked about that. I won't get into it too much, but I do miss that on the dials. I think, you know, they put so much into the WYZY wheel, and if you're looking at that and not paying attention to the road, that could be a little bit distracting. But yeah, so again, my impressions, very capable bike, but it's definitely more touring, more street focused. And maybe that's what BMW is trying to go to. I just feel like they took the GS out of the GS. So, hey, to each their own. Everybody's got an opinion, right? And, you know, just get out there and take a look yourself and see what you have to say about it. But, yeah, for me, it's not me. I like the character and the looks of the 1250 version. And maybe we'll see what happens when the GSA comes out, whether it's a 1300 or a 1400, nobody really knows, but maybe that one will be a little bit more aggressive looking or whatever, and we'll see what that bike has to say. So anyways, hope you liked the video. Check it out. Again, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.